She's just a movie character. She can't hurt you. She's just a movie character. She can't hurt you. Obsession. This movie is horrifying and haunting and upsetting and pain inducing and other adjectives like that. But it's also a blast. One of my favorite movie theater experiences for sure. Minor spoiler warning. I usually don't spoil movies, but with this movie, I would recommend that you watch it first because I think it's better to go in blind. And yeah, I'm going to be talking a lot about a lot of stuff. And also, trigger warning because there's some messed up stuff in this movie. So I went into this movie not knowing anything about it except that it was getting good reviews and that people were saying it was a difficult movie. Turns out it is indeed good, and it is indeed a difficult movie, but everything else was quite a surprise. Something I really like about the beginning of this film is how it almost acts like a wholesome teen romance drama. It starts with an awkward but likable guy trying to figure out how to tell a girl how he feels about her, and then he goes home and the tone is perfectly set when he finds his dead cat and has to clean it up himself. We get a chilling shot of him crying in the dark as the camera moves down to reveal the title, Obsession. Once again, I didn't know anything about this movie going in, so I kind of assumed it would be about this guy getting way too obsessed with this girl and like stalking her or something. But no, that's way too normal for a movie such as this. What he does is buy a toy that grants you one wish and wishes that this girl, Nikki, will love him more than anyone in the world. And then it works and she becomes super obsessed with him and all sorts of crazy shenanigans happen. If that plot description sounds like a fun Disney Channel original movie to you, that is not what this movie is. What happens in this movie has got to be some of the most gross and disturbing things I've ever seen on the big screen. The movie has it all. Barfing, peeing, bleeding, head smashing, shooting, lots of blood, lots of death. I think a pile of poo, and overall just an overwhelming sense of dread. Because of the ridiculous premise, the movie could easily fall apart with the wrong tone, but it really works. There's definitely a sense of self-awareness about it. Not like Deadpool type, this movie I'm in sucks kind of self-awareness. I mean, it knows exactly what it is. There's a bit of intentional goofiness and comedy that really worked and didn't feel out of place at all. Like the scene where he buys the wish thingy. There are some scary moments that are so over the top that afterward you can't help but chuckle a bit at the situation, and it felt completely intentional. But the movie takes itself and its characters very seriously and gives you good reason why you should too. It rides a fine line between just showing you things to be edgy and being genuinely frightening, and 95% of the time it's genuinely frightening. A lot of that is thanks to an absolutely incredible Indy Navarrete who plays Nikki. She's like good in the first 20 minutes-ish where she's normal, but after the main guy makes the wish, she gradually becomes more and more completely unhinged. Her laugh, the way she talks, her facial expressions, even her movements, everything she does is so weird and otherworldly, you'd actually think she's possessed or something. She tells weird incest story about Hansel and Gretel that is so unnerving and messed up, and her line delivery is so evil. She's just delighting in the fact that she's making everyone very uncomfortable with this horrible story. And I don't know if this was entirely on her end or if they did it in editing, but there was a part where she moved backwards all jerky and strange and it was really scary. I wonder if they just lowered the frame rate or something. I don't know. I gotta watch that scene again. Anyways, this is one of those rare performances where I can say I feel a little bit in danger watching her. There were a few times where I was reminding myself in my head, she's just a movie character. She's just a movie character. Oh, wow. And the way she screams, it's hard to describe the feeling of sitting in a theater and hearing this woman scream in that way. It's like blood curdling. I know it's kind of too soon to be saying this, but like, give her the Oscar. Holy cannoli. As for the lead guy, whose name is Bear for some reason, he also did a great job. He plays the part of an awkward guy that's in over his head very well. When Nikki first starts acting really weird, I felt like the guy's reactions were very close to how I would react in a situation like that. Even though this guy is ultimately the one who causes all the problems, I think it's very important for this movie that he comes off as likable and relatable, but I'll get to that. In terms of visuals, the movie looks great. The cinematography is understated dated, but definitely fitting for what it is. During some of the normal scenes of characters just talking, it feels like any average romance movie in the way that it's shot. But then at other times, the camera's just a little too close or further back, and you can barely kind of see what's going on. Like, in a good way. It makes you a little bit on edge. Something is wrong here. The lighting is really good. There's a few shots where you can like see Nikki, but her face is concealed in darkness. There's one shot where she's standing in the doorway and having this slightly off conversation, and it's like it's presented as a normal scene, but then her face is weirdly shadowed, and there's something a bit off about it, and it just makes you uncomfortable. And of course, the practical effects are great. The blood and stuff looks very real and very gross. Good job on that. John Carpenter would be proud. A big part of the atmosphere of the movie is thanks to the music, which for the most part is really good. It's really dark and atmospheric and sounds like a 6-hour long ambient music video that you would find on YouTube at 1 a.m. called Hand. Sorry, that was way too specific. It reminds me of Hand. A lot of times the music is pretty scary and filling you with dread, but there are other times where it's weirdly kind of bittersweet. Like there's just a bit of hope, only for it to fall to pieces as the music descends into scariness again. There's a certain scene I loved where Bear is trying to get his friend to wish Nikki back to normal, and the friend doesn't take him seriously and just says, "I wish for $1 billion. Then $1 billion falls from the ceiling. The music is so good in that moment because it's like building to something hopeful, and then there's like a false triumph, and then the like saddest note ever. It's like, and at that moment when the music played, my heart just sinks because like, dang, that was his last hope. I don't really know how to describe the music any better because I'm not like a music critic, but just listen to the song Billionaire from this movie's score. I think it's one of my new favorite instrumental songs. However, there were multiple times where the music was way too dramatic. There would be like a jump scare and the music just goes, no! It really didn't need to do that. The moment was scary on its own and doesn't need the music to make sure that you know. Not that the music can't add to the scariness, because it often does in this movie. There's just a few moments where it's like trying too hard. Actually, that leads me to another issue. There's too many jump scares. Not because they scare me too much or anything, it's actually quite the opposite. You see, a scary scene in a horror movie typically goes like this. There's a scary, you don't know what it is. Tension is built up until jump scare! The tension is released. The danger is at least momentarily over once you've gotten through the jump scare. A lot of times I think horror is more effective with the built up tension and no release. It's a lot more deeply scary in that way. This movie definitely has a lot of that too. I think it's a very effective psychological horror movie first and foremost, but it definitely uses jump scares a bit too often for my liking. Honestly, they can be good and fun used in moderation, but I would just prefer it be done more sparingly. Okay, I'm gonna spoil the movie now, so if you're still watching this, even though you haven't seen the movie for some reason, skip ahead to this time. So in the end of the movie, after everything has gone completely wrong and all the friends are dead, Bear decides to take his own life. And that last scene is so good. Everything has been ruined at this point. The shot of him trying to shoot himself is so tense and sad, but then he just can't do it. So he takes the poison pills that killed his cat, and he's about to die. You think the movie's gonna end. Then suddenly he changes his mind and tries to make himself throw up. No, that's worse. Nikki will still be in this way. Everything will still be bad. And then it gets even worse when we hear the One Wish Willow sound and Bear comes out of the bathroom now obsessed with Nikki. But then Bear dies of the poison foaming at the mouth just like his cat, and evil Nikki is sad. And then finally, the most tragic thing happens at last. Nikki snaps back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. Nikki snaps back to reality, surrounded by all this death, and just starts screaming. The credits play on the TV as we hear Nikki wailing in misery and pain. It's horrible. I saw a very popular review on Letterboxd for this movie that I did not like and I wanted to talk about, but I can't find it anymore, so I think it got removed or something. It said something like proof that all rapists should kill themselves or something. First off, rape is evil and bad. Like, don't misunderstand me on that point. Second, nobody should kill themselves. Your worst mistake does not define you as a person. Anyways, besides the aggressive statement that probably got it taken down, I really think this is missing the point of the movie. Bear was indeed the bad guy. He created this problem through his obsession, and despite all the warning signs and the real Nikki clearly telling him that she was suffering and didn't want this, and he didn't try to fix anything until the very end. He acted selfishly and stupidly and, yeah, pretty much raped her and killed all his friends. But this character being likable, relatable, and sympathetic is so important to this movie because you are the character Bear. I'm the character Bear. To me, what this movie is trying to get at is that we all want things so badly, whether it be like a relationship or an ideal situation or whatever, that we'll take the easy way out because the alternative is impossible or too difficult. Instead of telling the real Nikki how we feel, we'll just settle for a fake, messed up version of what we want, and we don't do anything to fix it until it's too late. The ending of this is so tragic because, sure, we're sad about Bear dying, but we're mostly sad for Nikki because we see how Bear, this nice guy who we like and quite possibly relate to, totally ruined her life and caused her this much suffering. It's miserable. So when that review was snobbishly laughing at Bear, saying he should kill himself, like, yeah, okay, I feel like you're missing the point and not feeling the full weight of this thing. But I don't know, that's just me. I'm sure whoever wrote that review is a semi-reasonable person and just absent-mindedly posted a little clip to get likes or whatever. I just wanted to use that as an example. Anyways, this movie is a lot of fun and also a lot of not fun. I really liked it. I'm gonna give this bad boy an 8 out of 10 for now, but if I watch it again, I could definitely see myself raising it to a 9. It's awesome. It was a really fun theater experience. Yeah, I think Curry Barker, the director of this movie, has a bright future ahead of him. It's great to see like creators from YouTube becoming this mainstream and making such good movies. Obsession and Backrooms are making more money than The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is insane. So I think there's a real shift happening in the air right now, and like we're living in a time where movies are really moving in a good direction. So I'm really excited for the future of cinema. Tell me in the comment section your thoughts on the movie. How good was it? How do you interpret it? Tell me if I was right or wrong in my opinion. And lastly, what's your favorite kind of tree? Ah!